What's up, citizens of Avina Vlogs? Welcome to my weekly video. It is the first Friday of the year, of the month of February, and that means it's time for my January book wrap-up and my February TBR, which means to be read. So I have 3 books that I definitely finished reading in January, and I have 4 books I'm hoping to read in February at least. So let's jump right into it, shall we? Here is my January book wrap-up. Alright, first off, we have Never Smiles at Strangers, the first in the Grand Trespass series. This involves serial killers. It's got a small town element, a small town with lots of secrets. No one is who they say they are. Very well written. Yeah, just a fantastic book, and couldn't be happier with it. The picture is right here. You can see who the author is and everything. Really, really well written. The book was written by Jennifer James, and it was just really great character development. Very interesting thriller. Definitely, left you guessing until the very end who the serial killer was in this book. Involves, disappearances. So the townspeople just start disappearing one by one. It's kind of like an old school, actual horror thriller, kind of in the same vein, sort of like the old Halloween movies and stuff. But the serial killer is very human, very real human emotions and human developments per se. So, yeah, definitely a book you should not miss. It's a New York Times or USA Today bestseller, and just a great read. So I'd check it out if I were you. Next up on this book that I read in January, little train we have going on, Selp-Helf by Miranda Sings. It's definitely a comedic book. It is definitely geared towards the people who helped put Miranda Sings on the map. Her Merfand is. Although if you asked her, she did it herself. This book is a comedy book, kind of a self-help guide written by the YouTuber. This character is actually created by YouTube sensation Colleen Ballinger, or Colleen Evans now, and her brother Christopher Ballinger helped write it. Very funny. I laughed a lot. Definitely geared towards her fans, and this is definitely not a book you would actually take the advice. It's more you read it because you find it hilarious for the character. This character is so popular and so hilarious that she's been featured on Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee with Jerry Seinfeld, been on the Tonight Show, the Today Show, I believe. I mean, she's been everywhere. And she actually has her own Netflix series coming out. This book is just hilarious. It's a great tribute to who the character is and what made her such a popular character on YouTube. There's one thing I've always loved. It's character development and character acting, and I love comedians who create characters like this who kind of just blow up overnight. And definitely one of the first great characters of YouTube. So, Selp-Helf by Miranda Sings, definitely 2 thumbs up. Finally, the Mortal Instruments series. I read City of Bones, which is book 1 in the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare. Love the introduction. It's a powerful start. Lots of life or death situations going on. Definitely teen angst, but that's what happens when you read a young adult novel, and it's refreshing to see the kind of visceral brutality of that, storyline be brought to life in a young adult series. It's not the focus of the story isn't necessarily the romance, which is interesting. There is romance in it, and there's lots of love triangle stuff going on, but the focus isn't on that, especially not in this first book. It's actually on the life or death situations that these characters go through. The characters are very well thought out, well developed. It's a great introduction to the series, and I love it. Cassandra Clare has definitely proven over the years why she's such a force in the young adult literary world. And again, great characters. That's my big thing when I'm reading, is a character development that is always climbing higher as the story progresses. So, Mortal Instruments, City of Bones, Book 1. Fantastic read. Okay, so those were my January book wrap-ups. Now, let's head to my February TBR. I have 4 books I want to read, hopefully. The first, I am actually currently reading right now already. It's called Black Widow Forever Read. It is a Marvel young adult novel focusing on the espionage super spy Black Widow, aka Natasha Romanoff. It's about her, how she was created, the Red Room program, her days in Russia, her days after she got out of Russia, and a whole new character, the Red Widow, I believe. So I have only read the first 40 pages or so. It's really good so far, and I'm really glad to see novels for the Marvel Universe start coming out. I love reading full novels, and it's a nice hardcover, 400 pages I believe, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. Next, I want to read The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. I've never read it. I've read 2, I think, of his books, and they're really good. And I want to read this because I like the movie a lot. So I know it's going to be sad. I'll admit it, I'll cry probably. But yeah, it's supposed to be really good, and I've always liked John Green's work. So sign me up for The Fault in Our Stars. Also, The Night of Elisa. I just got this from my group on Goodreads, my publicity group, Book Lover Cat Lady Publicity. I don't know much about it yet. I just got in the mail, so at the end of, or at the beginning of next month, for the February book wrap up, I can tell you what it's about, who the author is. All I know is it's kind of in a horror element, and the really interesting thing about it is it combines illustrations with the book itself. But it's like an actual book, but with illustrations mixed in with it, so it's not a kid's book or anything. It's really dark, grim reality kind of horror stuff. So can't wait to read that. And then finally, I want to read the next book in the Mortal Instruments series, City of Ashes. This book continues the first trilogy in the series, and after reading that first book, I'm really really into the story. I love the villain. Valentine really grabs you, and he's such a dark character. So yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to reading in February. And there you go, guys. That was my January book wrap-up and my February TBR. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. I do this once a month, and I hope you enjoy it. I love reading. Reading is my passion. I wouldn't be a good writer if I wasn't reading constantly. So I'm also really into the young adult genre right now because I actually have plans for a prequel series to the Nightmare Wars series I began writing. There are 3 books in that series so far. I have at least 4 more I'd like to do with that series, but we'll see how it goes. I want to write a prequel series that kind of tells the story before the war began, and it follows the young adult genre, where it follows a young teenager who's been a vampire for hundreds of years, kind of caught in the teenage year for eternity. And it's about this kind of the beginning stages of, the planning of the war, her torn identity between her nature as a vampire and not wanting to hurt people. It's about how the beginning stages of rebellion was formed. I mean, a lot of goes into it. I'm not going to give too many details on the plot yet away, but those are just some of the initial thoughts I had. But yeah, that's why I'm really into the young adult genre right now, and those are my plans for the month of February. So thank you so much for tuning in this week. In the comments below, tell me what book you hope to read in February is, and just leave some suggestions for books you want me to read so maybe I can check them out. Thank you for watching. Give this video a big thumbs up. Like this video, comment on it, favorite it, and share it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. If you're new to the channel, you haven't hit that red button yet, please hit the subscribe button. It means so much to me. If you stuck around, hung in there. I do daily vlogs. I do these weekly videos, random topics every week. And then I have the Writer's Corner podcast I do every Wednesday. Speaking of which, if you guys want to see today's recommended videos or playlists, the eye in the sky is up here. So click that. And check our links down below for all our social media feeds. Thank you for watching. Like this video, comment on it, favorite it, and share it again. And I will see you guys next week for a brand new video. Thanks for watching, guys. Long days and pleasant nights, my friends.